Well, good evening, Ladies, Lasses, and Lazos. Welcome to the Click. You smell absolutely amazing today. And don't think I forgot about you, crappy side camera that can never get the color correction right. Isn't that just beautiful? Oh, yes, indeed it is. By the way, did you know what would be an amazing FacePalm moment? Speaking of today's video, that is if you missed the glow-in-the-dark emotional support demon. It glows in the dark, it supports your emotion, it lights through the darkest moments. Literally and figuratively speaking. Don't miss out on it. It's coming out very soon. You can do this. Isn't that just gorgeous? Who wouldn't want to do that? Make sure not to miss out. It's going to be out in like a couple of weeks or something. It's going to be absolutely beautiful, and I am so excited. Speaking of being excited, I am so excited to have you here today because today we're going to do one of my favorite subreddits, r/FacePalm. Glorious stories, moments when humanity has just gone completely astray, and we gather around this absolute trash fire to laugh about it. Enjoy. Mwah.
You know what I like the most about trash fires? It's that it's made of trash, so I feel at home.
The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. PSA 14.1a. Theory of evolution, here is fish. Here is slightly leggier fish that evolves into monkey fish. Monkey fish then evolves into a hairy human. Hairy human becomes sitting human. And that is a Darwinist/atheist. A hairy monkey fish. Evolution, the greatest lie ever told by science. What's the argument here? Like, I don't get it. It's so weird. It's just like a massive straw man. Because you made like this grossly simplified thing of evolution that is just like missing 50 billion steps in between everything. It makes it look weird. And then you post it to your Facebook group and be like, evolution isn't real because I draw a picture of a fish and a monkey and they're not the same. The thing I always find a bit odd about these arguments is that you can see evolution in front of yourself in many examples around the world, but if you want to be hyper-specific, like literally in your own family, the odds that your kids are like somewhat similar to you or at least have the same hair or eyes or whatever, it's kind of there. You know, genetics are a thing. So is it really so far-fetched that if you take that but just like extend it by 1,000,000 years, that people would change kind of drastically? No? Or do people think that is only tied to specifically hair color, but nothing else about humans can change genetically over generations? Like, bruh, it's right there. It's, what? Why can't you just extrapolate? It's not that, bleh. A German female referee gave a red card to Turkish player Karim. Player told her, you should stick to the kitchen. Oh, he is also 12 years old. The referee wrote that in a report and FIFA suspended him for 5 matches, and as part of his suspension, he'll officiate 1 women's football match too. It's such like a 12-year-old in a video game lobby thing as well. She's like, I should go to... God, it's so embarrassing, isn't it? Wikipedia is not for sale. A personal appeal from Jimmy. Please don't scroll past this 1-minute read. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's Sunday. I will give them $1 billion if they change their name to Dickipedia. Oh, Musky Husky. So sometimes I wonder, like, what demographic he's going for on Twitter. You know, he really is the rar/XD, not like other girls, but a billionaires, isn't it? It really is like that. Oh, Musky Husky. Muggle facts and news. J.K. Rowling says that Hermione should have ended up with Harry instead of Ron. Ain't she write the damn book? What do you mean? Is she complaining about the whole book? Then why didn't you make it so? Come on! Just because Harry was such a freaking beta cuck. Can't compete with the Alpha Sigma Ron. Freaking magic pilled beta bish. Did I get the terminology? I think I got the terminology. Can you imagine that? Harry Potter red pill. It's gonna be beautiful. Man, the internet's lovely. My wife left me because she was programmed by radical feminism to believe that she could just break her marriage vows and file for divorce under the concept of irreconcilable differences. Our differences were irreconcilable. Is that actually a word? Because she was unsubmissive, physically and verbally abusive. And when I finally physically handled her, okay, for her disrespect and insubordinate behavior. Like fam, you're not a drill sergeant here, okay? What are you doing? She turned on me and just used her parents and the justice system to prevent my rights as a man and her husband to discipline her for her behavior. Step off, you little birch. Well, at least I'm gonna give this guy 1 point and 1 little golden star in the corner because he has just shown the entire world what an absolute bag of dog poo that he actually is, so everyone can just stay away from it. At least, you know, he's like holding the red flags very clearly above his head, so that's something, right? My right as a man to physically discipline my wife. Oh my god. He just wrote this and like genuinely believe you're in the right. It blows my mind. It is so nice of him to put this out in the whole world for any future ladies thinking about dating him. It can save both of them a lot of time. Indeed, it's good. If you're gonna have red flags, at least show them right off the bat, so we can stay away. Surprise sewage shower. The only time I imagine that this could get even worse, even more cursed, is that you're sitting there, a little bit nervous, your first job interview after graduation, and you just have a sewer leak right on top of your head. It's all about first impressions.
I have a date with a guy this weekend, and he asked me what my budget was so he could pick a nice restaurant for us. Budget? Am I paying for my meal?
Yes, indeed, a little pre-date transparency. Take it to Twitter, because this is obviously something bad, I guess. And the amount of stuff I see from dating online, you know what, I think it's honestly bias as well, because obviously the stuff that is the most outrageous and the most alien is gonna be the stuff that goes viral, honestly. It's like that video with the lady in the car who wouldn't get out of the car because this place they went to wasn't expensive enough, even though she was the one late to the date, so they missed their reservation at the actual nice place. It blows my mind. The amount of weird dating stuff you see online is absolutely mind-boggling. Maybe real life isn't so bad after all. Oh my god, that should actually be a positive spin on it. I should make a video series that is like that horrible dating to make you feel good about every single interaction you've ever had yourself, because it can always get worse. The New York Times. Dozens of parking lots have opened across the US for working people who earn too little to afford rent, but too much to receive government assistance, and have turned their cars into a form of affordable housing. Look at that. So wholesome, right? Yeah, that's nice. It's not like it completely works. It's so wholesome. This reminds me of that wholesome story where there was some kid who had been selling lemonade all summer or something so he could pay off the student school lunch debt for his friends. And it was this just sounds awful. Why would he even have to do this? I mean, it just feels like something is really borked about the system, doesn't it? If you work in the system of society, you should be able to get as much out of the system to at least just get by. Otherwise, it feels like there's something weird with the system. The equation doesn't add up. Narayana says India's work culture must change. Youngsters should work 70 hours a week. Whoa! Get that grind set, Is life tough? Have you considered just working 200 hours a week? Oh, yes, indeed. Do they actually realize how much 70 hours a week is? Because I've been working that and more during intense periods of my life. For example, back during uni when I was working or studying at the same time, or with YouTube in the very beginning when I was still doing everything myself, like editing, bookkeeping, etc., before I could really afford or have anyone on board. It was a lot. A lot of my friends were joking about it when I came back from these intense periods and were like, hey, we were betting where you went, if you joined a secret agency or if you just died. And I'm like, obviously, a bit of joking fashion, but these kind of hours is a lot. It devours your life. This shouldn't be a norm that anyone, wants people to have. You can have busy periods, but this shouldn't be the baseline.
Men cannot breastfeed. You can put on your shirts now and call them mother.
Readers added context they thought people might want to know. These men are not attempting to breastfeed, they are engaging in skin-to-skin contact, a practice proven to be beneficial for newborns. Why is this doctor person being sassy on Twitter and also being correct? Okay, if there's one thing I like about Twitter nowadays, it's the community notes. It's actually beautiful the amount of times I've seen this absolutely roast people. There are entire meme accounts just taking screenshots of this stuff and just reposting funny community notes. They're just roasting people. It is amazing. Okay, Musky Husky, you get 1 point. You get 1 point. I went out and surveyed my town for worker shortages. Jobs paying $30 an hour or more, no shortage. 25 to 30, no shortage. 20 to 25, no shortage. 15 to 20, a couple help wanted signs. Jobs paying less than $15 an hour, shortage. If only there was a solution.
It is a mystery, my God.
He should be impeached. The world burns and he walks on the beach. American hostages be damned. I mean, he can't walk on the beach. Would you say the same if there was a picture of the sleeping? I don't know, man. People make up the wildest arguments online. It's just outrage over nothing. Isn't that just the internet in a nutshell, though? It's beautiful. A group of ladies make a list of places men shouldn't take them out on the first date. What? Why is men in quotation marks? Is that like sarcastic? Okay, anyway. Here is a list of places women absolutely refuse to go on a first date, and thank you to the ladies who reached out to me to help me on the list. Ladies. I don't think these speak for all the ladies, but let's get into the list, shall we? It's gonna be beautiful. Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden, the movies, your house. Okay, some of these make sense, I suppose. Like, your house, not everyone is comfortable to go home to someone's place on the first date. That can be a personal preference, but like, everything else, just normal things. Going to the movies. What? Any fast food chain. But couldn't you just like included everything else in that? No? Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, Red Lobster, a buffet. But any buffet out the window. IHOP, Denny's, the gym, church. Do people take people to dates in churches? I mean, maybe that's just me being Swedish and we haven't invented churches yet, but like, damn, I've never heard about that. Starbucks, coffee dates.
You can't take people out for coffee. What's even left?
Ice cream dates. But you're telling me you don't want to go for like a nice walk on the beach with an ice cream in the sun. What? Family functions, a movie night, Netflix, Hulu, and etc. Wouldn't that be like your place as well? It feels like a lot of this is just like Venn diagram circles, isn't it? Somewhere that requires a long drive. Bowling. Bowling is amazing. Are you kidding? That's fun. It's like social and like a bit of a thing you do together. You can have a beer. It's super. What are you talking about? Nightclubs, hookah bar, a bar just for drinks. But if it's a bar that also serves burgers, is it okay then? Waffle House sports events. Is there anything left on this? The only thing I can think of that is still left on this list that isn't completely eradicated by this massive list is like super expensive restaurants that are really close to where you live. That's the only thing that isn't included by this list. But if it is an expensive restaurant that is too far away, then it falls under the no long drives thing. So it's wow. I'm gonna be honest, fam. I don't think that the average person, either laddie, lass, or lasso, has this kind of list. This feels like it's a group of like 5 bitter people who haven't been able to like find anyone in 10 years of trying, and they're very eager to project it on everyone else. It's not my fault. My 52 last relationships didn't work out. I am not the common denominator. It's because they took me to have ice cream. Who does that? Disgusting. Oh, I got ourselves a little situation here at the gas station. Isn't that beautiful? Wait, what is that? That's a fire extinguisher. What are you... No, are you trying... No, you're trying to pressurize the tires with a fire extinguisher. No. No. Oh, this is really extinguishing the hope about humanity. Haha, got him. Oh my god, this gives me some kind of flashbacks to how difficult it was to figure out stuff with your car when you were like 18 years old, you know? When you just had your driver's license and you're going to like a service for the first time and it's like, what's a window wiper? God, it brings me back to traumas. Witnessed a legend like it's never been told before. LaShawn Thomas joins with anime hitmakers Mappa for Yasuki, a new series following the legendary African samurai premiering on Netflix. I am not racist. It's always a good thing to start off your sentence. But anime is supposed to be an escape from all the politics the real world shoves down our throats. Adding black people just kind of defeats the whole purpose. Black people are inherently political and shouldn't exist in media, okay. Saying that anime is an escape from politics with an AOT profile picture is insane. Not to mention, like, the post itself. Did you read this before posting? Sometimes I feel like some people on the internet know how to post, but they don't know how to read. I don't know how to explain that. It blows my mind. This is Sniper Wolf. Oh my god. Yeah, I've been following this. Oh my god, it's atrocious. Let me start by saying I'm sorry for my recent actions. It is inexcusable. I'm sorry to Jack's Film. You didn't even spell the name right. YouTube, the entire creative community, and my incredible fans for not being a better example for appropriate conflict resolution. This is very corporate. Jack's Film, misspelled name again. While we certainly don't see eye to eye and have our differences, I'm sorry for reacting the way I did when I should have taken the opportunity to show how adults and professionals resolve conflict by communicating directly, respectfully, and privately. Not for use in content, but a meaningful example of a conflict should be solved. I will reach out directly and hoping I find some time to connect and communicate respectfully. It's like a weird thing to backtrack on when you've showed up outside of someone's house, then make light of it on your other social media, then YouTube steps in with like way too little punishment for what was actually committed here, let's be honest. Even if you can argue like the legal aspect of it, sure, that is one thing, but YouTube as a platform sets a horrible precedent. Imagine that. If you have 30 million subs, someone critiques you, you can just like threaten their physical safety, and you won't really have any kind of punishment, or maybe a couple of videos demonetized, whatever, but at that point it doesn't matter. Like, it means that you can completely threaten and shut down any smaller criticizer with minimal consequence from the platform. That is an insane standard to set.
I will reach out directly and hope we can find some time to connect and communicate respectfully. I'd also like to thank YouTube for holding me accountable. I deserve it. Respect the decision and appreciate the opportunity to learn and grow from a true lapse in judgment.
Ooh, ChatGPT, text baby. No, I don't like where this beef went in the very least, because it's such a horrible precedent for the platform at all. You know, online beef is one thing, but when you start doing things that affect people in real life, either throwing around allegations that could be life-ruining, or showing up to people's houses, or doing other things that are like sensitive, then you breach that barrier that is kind of like an unspoken rule for online creators. You don't do this. This is so far over the line of what is acceptable. A group for where you anonymously ask for advice. Should I be concerned about my relationship? My 39M girlfriend 26F is about to start chemo in a few weeks. I know our naughty life is going to change. Wait, that's where this is going. Wait, what? I get that it's not her fault. Okay, but naughties is a very big part of our relationship. I try not to stress her out, but I want to be honest when I don't feel satisfied. Hey there, honey, sitting there, getting your weekly chemo thing or whatever, feeling like absolute poo and like barfing up your insides. How about that? How about that thing? How about, yeah, you know, I don't want, that's,
She has cancer, bro. What the fuck?
It's going to be 7 months or so, and I am nervous we're not going to make it. We are not going, okay. I also don't know how risky it is for me to have this kind of stuff with her while she's getting the drugs. Does anyone know if Naughty's doing chemo is doctor approved or not? What? That's your concern. That's your concern. Your partner has literal cancer and going in for treatment. And you're like, but what about the intimacy? Good sir, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that you're not in this relationship because you care about this person or because of love or anything like that. You are completely unable to see beyond your own immediate needs. Like even the time frame, like 7 months. If you think this is someone that you want to spend your life with and be in a serious relationship, 7 months isn't a long time. For God's sake, I have friends whose partners goes abroad for projects or studies for 7 months and it's perfectly fine. Like this time frame is not that much if you really are into this relationship, and secondly, the lack of compassion is disturbing.
Reminds me of when my mom had breast cancer in the 1970s. The doctor sent my dad to a support group so he could learn to cope with the loss of her breasts. She did not get any counseling.
Oh, that's the priority? What the hell?
Well, sorry there, sir, you're feeling sad. Seems like the boob therapy did not work after all. Does anyone else feel like this is like incredibly juvenile? It's so weird. It reminds me of that post where the man was complaining that he had an uncomfortable chair when his wife was going through labor. It's this mind-blowing concept. It's like, oh my god, yeah, you're going through this kind of stuff, surgery and body will change and, you know, it's dangerous and maybe you'll die and that kind of stuff. But what about me? I need soft things to touch. The trauma. I mean, the term man up is like usually pretty toxic nowadays, but like really, are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? Mike Johnson, RLA, on his wife Kelly not being in attendance for his ascension to House Speaker. She's spent the last couple of weeks on her knees in prayer to the Lord, and she's a little worn out. Did you make an innuendo about your own wife, like at a press conference? Okay. Mirror. I am divorcing my wife over her OnlyFans account. I can't stand the shame. A husband has said that he is leaving his wife after she started an OnlyFans account, stating that he is uncomfortable with her decision and says their 11-year-old daughter is being bullied. Kids are awful sometimes, man.
This what happened to me. He left me because I had to make a vid with his friend. Like, come on, bae, it's just my job.
Okay, that sounds like a rage bait to just advertise their own profile, to be honest, because if that is true, it's like a pretty big lack of awareness of what the relationship probably means. You could have picked anyone that isn't specifically his friend. That's what Jesus Christ. Being able to easily search your mother's nude pics and naughty videos on the internet is really not a good thing, to be honest, and it will be there forever. Yeah, the internet is forever, which is a scary thing. Like, stuff from years and years and years ago can come back to haunt you. I think it's the kind of thing where once you've taken the step, it's really difficult to take it back, and that goes with a lot of things online. So what I usually tell people with anything when it comes to content creation or what you want to put up there, whatever it might be careful what you do, because once you cross a line, you can very rarely take it back. Sadly. So even if you realize at a later date that I wasn't into doing this, or maybe I took this too far, or whatever it might be, it's really hard to take a step back because the internet never forgets, and there are also people who are very eager to bring it up. Like in this case, for example, like obviously, you know, a kid shouldn't be bullied for this kind of stuff, but the world sucks. And kids sometimes suck as well. So yeah, just bad vibes all around. Be careful around the internet. Some stuff is difficult to take back, sadly. Fat women have standards and don't have to settle for fat men. Private group. What? That's the wildest title I've read today.
This is probably the worst title they could have chosen. Imagine if it said, fat men have standards and don't have to settle for fat women.
Nobody has to settle for anything. You could be a literal swamp monster. Don't shame Shrek. God, my boy. And only settle for supermodels. That's entirely your own call to make. You're not likely to ever actually find a partner, but that's your problem. I feel like topics revolving issues like this have gotten so tense online, and in various aspects. It's like such a multi-dimensional topic nowadays that it's hard to even properly talk about it and explain what you really mean. For example, I've seen people try to justify and be like, you should be able to criticize how people look because bullying gets them in shape. And usually what I see is that no, it's just an excuse to poop on people to try to feel better about yourself. It's no better than those 11-year-old bullies that was harassing that little girl. And you have so much misinformation and weird trends regarding this topic in all kinds of directions. Like on the fitness side, you have a bunch of retouched photos, retouched waistlines, filters, lack of transparency with steroids, you name it. And you have another side of the whole thing where it's like very eager to spread the misinformation but about completely different things. Like, oh, it's not possible for anybody to lose weight, for example, or it's 100% genetics, which of course isn't the case either. It's always a multi-dimensional thing and it's different for different people. Then I've heard other horror stories, for example, where I remember someone was talking about it, how they had put on weight and they left it the way it was, meaning that they didn't want to lose it again because they had been a victim of, for example, harassment in the past. And putting on a bit of weight made their harasser no longer interested. So it was almost a trauma response, which was really dark. I suppose the whole point is that the human experience is so multi-dimensional and it can vary so much on an individual level. So be careful not to assume too much one way or another about people. Be decent towards others. I think that could go the furthest way. But groups like this, of course, gets a bit silly. It just reads like a parody, doesn't it? New York Post. Famous last words. Florida fisherman bitten by shark. Pulled overboard in the Everglades. 2 seconds won't do anything. I wouldn't put your hands in there, a person off camera says. 2 seconds won't do anything, the man replies, second before the shark bites his hand as he dips in the water. This is just asking for trouble. Is it actually famous last words, though? Or did it just get pulled overboard? Because it sounds like it was just pulled into the water, and like the picture up to the right looks like him like going back up again. So it sounds overly dramatic, but still, it's just stupid. Gives me like YouTuber prank vibes. Child marriages safe in West Virginia after ban narrowly defeated. What is this headline? Child marriage is safe. That's such a little bit too positive, fam. This is a little bit sus, isn't it? What an article.
I moved because what's wrong with being gay?
There's only 2 gender, even in Animal Kingdom, and we're basically count as animals too, so there is only male and female, not gay!
Yes, the mysterious, impossible third gender. The gay. This is that kind of vibe when you're so grossly failing a test. When it's like, what's 2 plus 2?
Green. He definitely has a girlfriend. How to get kicked out of Fenway?
So she's just going a little bit ham, trying to get the attention of a fellow male. This must be some kind of mating season stuff. The fellow male is not noticing it. It's simply not the right season. I'm not sure what this female individual is doing. Anyway, she is still going for some reason because public shame disappeared the day TikTok was invented. Oh, yes, indeed. Now we see, is she gonna cross over? Is she actually gonna do it? I don't know what that is. It's not a good dance. Oh, no, that's enough. Okay, let's go back. And then we keep going. Yes, indeed, there's no such thing as stopping in this day and age. Isn't that just absolutely beautiful? Wow, so glad to be part of this humanity. Videos like this give me a oddly satisfactory sense of pain. It is unbearable cringe that would leave a Victorian child in tears. It is a slight disappointment for being part of humanity, but it's also like some giddiness because it's so funny and I get to laugh about it for content. And it's just the best of two worlds, isn't it? Oh yes, indeed, the yin and yang of the internet.
14 years old, owned a Discord server where someone posted illegal content. I am a 14-year-old girl from Scotland.
Wait a second.
I am a 14-year-old girl from Scotland, and on the 10th of October I made a Discord server.
That's relatively accurate.
I advertised it as a lowly shota. That's okay. So anime fans would join. However, someone joined and sent a lot of real CP, like of actual people. I saw it and didn't really interact with it, and people were telling me to delete it. But I was scared and dumb and just didn't want to interact with it at all because I was scared I would get my info stolen if I did that.
Wait a second, are current 14-year-olds really that technologically illiterate? Like, you don't think you can, like, moderate and delete photos? Or even just, at this point, just nuke the Discord server? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, be careful with what you click on online, don't get me wrong, but...
The next day later on, the server was taken down for nautilization. Yeah, that's good. I went away on holiday on the 13th of October and came back today on the 21st. There has been 2 police letters through the door addressing to my mom's number saying they tried to contact her. It says the incident happened on the 10th of October. When this was sent, it doesn't specifically say what the incident was, but I'm so scared that it's related to the server. I mean... sounds like it, but they probably want to talk to you and see if they can track the person down. You know, that's the guess. Like, Discord is notorious for having a lot of exploitative individuals and communities and all that stuff using it. There has been documentary videos on YouTube that are actually quite interesting, that there are entire sub-communities on Discord that use code names and code words to get away with this kind of stuff. So, for example, they wouldn't use such obvious language as the words mentioned here. They would use other stuff, you know, like, oh, Splorgendorgen, that means this shady thing. Or like, Herkendurken is this kind of stuff over here. They just make up random things, or maybe more real words, like, oh, potato, that means this, or this and that. It's like, oh, the server for potato community, and it's like something silly, or you think it's a video game, but in reality it's something very illegal and shady. It just makes it hard to catch because none of the keywords gets caught in the most obvious filters. My mom called the number back and still hasn't confirmed what happened. They say they're gonna try to put her on the line to someone. It's classed as a non-emergency. Will I get in trouble for owning the server if it is? I am panicking and really need help.
I had a friend who had a similar thing at uni. Someone posted a bestiality photo to a uni WhatsApp group. The problem is that stuff automatically backs up to everyone's clouds accounts. It was a massive mess. Police were trying to work out if anyone had committed an offense by owning the image. They hadn't, only the original uploader. Wait, that is wild. So just someone was like just dumping illegal materials into a group chat, and then it's like, oh, maybe everyone here has committed a crime because of how the like syncing of the cloud works. That is bonkers. I imagine that the police want to see the logs and get details of what's there to find out who was sharing this crap. I also imagine that you are not in trouble for what others did on the server. Just be totally honest with your folks and go from there. It's a little more complex than that, as lolly is completely banned in the UK. It carries the same sentence as if there were actual pictures. Oh, okay. That's why there's such a huge frick around and find out. Edit to clarify, I am not OOP and don't need advice, thanks. That is wild. So what was this person doing with the server in the first place? That is bonkers. I mean, honestly, it sounds like this person should just have made a private server instead. Maybe not about that topic either, to make sure that no randos and stuff joins. Because the thing with running a big Discord, like I have experience with, is that you need like proper moderation in place. You need bots, you need logs, you need an entire structure, entire hierarchy of moderators, bots, admins, structure, etc. to make it work. You know, it's an incredibly complex structure that takes like a good couple of years to build up and like get the right people in there. Sometimes it's not the right people and then you have to replace them, and then it's the whole thing with that, and you know, it becomes a whole engine that you have to keep going. Having a public Discord server is a pretty complicated thing. I know other YouTubers that have shut them down because they couldn't keep up with moderation once the server started growing. It's incredibly difficult. So my tip to anyone who wants to make a little Discord server for fun, don't make it public. A public Discord server is exposed to the entire internet, and you know what's out on the internet. It's a wild place. So if you want to have a public Discord server, have a moderation team in place. You probably shouldn't be 14 and own a public Discord server, because the kind of stuff you have to deal with on Discord, both like people issues, staff issues, etc., can be quite stressful. And then of course there's also this stuff. It doesn't mean that anyone who owns the Discord is by default guilty to anything some random person is spreading on the internet. Of course not. If that was the case, then it would be absolutely wild. But of course you have to make sure that your server is looked after and as safe as possible. I think it's even part of the basic TOS on Discord, if I recall correctly. So my tips to anyone who is not ready to deal with the hierarchy and everything that comes along with having a public moderated server, just don't have a public server. It is not worth the hassle. Greta Thunberg deletes social media post after critics claimed stuffed octopus in photo could be viewed as an anti-Semitic symbol, as she says the toy helps with her autism. Wait a second. So out of all the stuff going on social media, all the controversies and current events, etc., the stuff people focus on is zooming in on the background of that little stuffed octopus and be like, that's a Nazi. You know, people, sometimes a stuffed animal is just a stuffed animal. Sometimes a plushy octopus is just a plushy octopus. I don't have a plush octopus as some part of anti-Semitic conspiracy. I have a plush octopus because octopuses are the freaking coolest animals. Are you sure about that? Musky Husky. Twitter Blue verified subscribers can upload 2-hour videos, 8 gigabytes. Ah, frick it, Shrek the Third. When people are just doing this, they're just replying with full movies. Oh no, that can't be legal. Oops.
This just proves it. Look, Islam, and you can fit it in coronavirus, COVID-19. So you see, coronavirus 19. If you just squeeze a couple other letters in there, you can make like these word appear in there. It was a word puzzle. I've cracked the world conspiracy.
I swear to God, these people played through like one Skyrim dungeon with the basic spinny puzzle with the logos and matching letters, and then they think the entire world works like that. Like, goddamn, I don't think if there was a ruling society in the world, they'd be like, hey, wait a second. Okay, I know we're gonna name our company. How about we take the word super secret organization that runs the world and we just mix around the letters to make it be something else? But Facebook moms can figure it out and crack the whole world conspiracy. Oh my God, Steve, you're so smart. That's why you're in marketing. I mean, if that was, they just wouldn't do it. You know, why would they leave it there? There is no need to. Why?
We are not all the same. All races, Chinese, Indian, Japanese, African, Caucasian, etc. have different looks and abilities. If blood is needed or a transplant, a person from the same race is vital, or rejection is likely to be severe. What's wrong with differences anyway?
This person doesn't know how blood transfusions work. Type A stands for Asian, type B stands for black, and type O stands for others. Yeah, sometimes I feel like people, like this original poster is like, differences are beautiful and diversity and stuff, but then they just take this to like a complete different level, just be like, here's this hyper racist statement and be like, we cannot share blood between races. It just becomes so bad, man. Like the implications. Oh my God. Garden Grove, unvaxxed sperm, $3,500 a load. I will come to you. Here's a phone number that I think we need to censor. You put this on the car. Please tell me that you lost a bet or something. That this is just a bet with your bros and be like, hey bro, put this on the back of your car, see if anyone calls. It's gonna be the best prank ever, bro. This can't be real. Who do people actually pay for this? $3,500 for this? For this? Man, anti-vaxxers are loaded, fam. What the hell? Am I the bot for asking my GF to stop spending money on immature crap? My 35M GF26F has just graduated with a Master's AI from a very prestigious university. Obviously, she was scooped up by a big tech company right after, and now makes a salary well over 6 figures. She now has her own place after living with 4 roommates for 2 years. AFAIK, she is responsible with her taxes, has basically no debt, she had full funding and went for a CC undergrad, is always on time for rent, etc. She also almost never eats takeout or drinks, and does put money aside for savings. The problem is that what she does with her free money or personal use money. Her apartment is always filled with the dumbest, most immature poo imaginable. She bought a massively expensive gaming computer. Whoops! She has a full Lego set of the ship from Star Trek. She bought a sword, a big framed original painting depicting a scene from Lord of the Rings. This stuff is lit, fam. Overpriced vinyl records. Is this just me? I recently renovated like an old vinyl set I inherited from an older relative, and like got some vinyl discs and stuff to play on it. Took a little bit of work to get everything running, but it's super like retro and nostalgic and cool. Is this just me? Every time I go over there, she has some new weird decor item, and every time I think, why is she doing this? Because she's working hard making good money and she's allowed to decorate her place. What are you talking about? So one day, I went over and she proudly showed me her desk with fancy rainbow lights, which would have cost a fortune. Okay, do you realize, like, the price differences here, if I'm gonna be honest? Like, can you do the math? If she makes over 6 figures, I'm guessing that is a year, because that's usually how American works, that is a ridiculous amount of money. A vinyl disc, a new print, like a collector's edition, is like $30, okay? So it's pricey compared to like other access of music nowadays, but it's not some huge spending. You can get a good gaming computer for a few $1,000s, and while there's a decent chunk of money, if you have a good job in IT with AI, you can probably spare that for a computer if you want one. I calmly sat her down and told her that she was wasting all her money on these ridiculous things. But what do you mean? She doesn't drink or have problems. She cooks a lot herself by the sound of it. She puts stuff in savings, has money left over. What do you mean? What are you suggesting she should do with it? I told her that she would be better off saving for a down payment on a house. Ah yes, instead of buying those 5 vinyls for $150, you should buy a house. She rents, or investing in the stock market, or even buying a good investment artwork instead of her weird Tolkien stuff. I am genuinely concerned that this is leading to financial irresponsibility, and once she is fired from her fancy tech job, what are you talking about? You're not even wishing your partner well. Are you just jealous? This seems really weird. I think you just like are jealous and you would like a man cave with all this kind of stuff in it. Like you're just jealous. Oh, she has a neon light computer and vinyl discs and stuff. This just sounds like the ultimate dad cave. Fancy tech job, she will be left without a solid financial foundation, apart from the money she was already saving per your own statement. She called me a jerk and told me that since it's her money, she can do what she wants. I told her I was looking out for her, after which she called me controlling. She hasn't spoken to me in almost a day. Am I the butt? Yeah, you are. She sounds like a lot of fun, and she sounds responsible, but also able to spend where it appreciates and where it's fun and that kind of stuff. You know, this sounds good. What are you doing? And it's also like the math doesn't add up at all. Like none of the things he mentioned are ridiculously expensive. She's not buying like, I don't know, a Gucci handbag made of diamonds for $500,000. You know, it's like, oh, a decent gaming computer, a few $1,000, vinyls, $30 a pop or something like that. This isn't like, if you're making good salary from a good degree, that is like within your spending capacity, and from what you said yourself, she's already spending money on savings. What are you on about? I think you're just jealous. If you call this flag racist, I don't think anyone is calling that flag racist. You need a history lesson. Ain't nothing finer than the Texas pipeliner. Yes, indeed, if you call this flag racist, it's actually slow. So, got him. Rebuttal? How can I be racist if I can't even spell racist? Checkmate. I just realized that these little bumps on the steering wheel are in Braille, so that blind drivers have no trouble finding the horn to alert other drivers when necessary. You learn something new every day.
Wait, what? Blind drivers?
I think it's just echolocation. I think that's how you do it. You know, that sounds really badass though. Can you imagine in the future when we have that as a technology, that you have like a specific frequency that you can enhance and plug into your ears and that kind of stuff, and you can just go around like, hi Steve. That's amazing. That is so cool. You can be out at night without a flashlight. That is amazing. Denise Rickard's OnlyFans collab with her 19-year-old daughter rubs the internet the wrong way. That choice of words, man. Did the internet rub it the right way after that? With this little family vibes? You know, when I hear like wholesome family times, this isn't really what I have in mind, you know? It really rubs the wrong way. Hitler and company killed over 1 million Jews or so. Those are rookie numbers, no big deal. Human society murdered 73 billion livestock in 2019 alone. But please cry more about the poor humans. I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal cruelty. This is like one of those weird things where it equates things that shouldn't have to be equated. It's like that whataboutism stuff that you can literally make an argument about anything. You know, it's not good. It's like, we need education, a reliable education for kids, because that's a good thing. But what about this thing over here? What about this mortality thing right here? But like, you can probably focus on both, or just not conflate it, you know? Sarah Huckabee Sanders announces that she has signed an executive order banning woke phrases such as chest feeding, human milk, and birth giver. Damn, yes, tackling the real issues of the world. Man hires adult worker from dating site blorp.com and his daughter shows up. Oh, it's kind of like the mother doing the OnlyFans with her daughter. What? Wholesome family vibes, baby. Yeehaw!
The phrase, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, contains every letter of the alphabets.
There is no W, there is no E. V, Z, V, K are missing. Where is the V? Is this just engagement farming? I think this is just engagement farming. We just post something outrageous for people to correct it. I have done that a couple of times in videos as well. To a much smaller extent, mind you, where it's like, oh, I made a small mathematical error, for example, in like a Click Academy thing in the heat of the moment. Leave it in there and see if people notice, and the comments just blow up. It's very funny. But I also like it. Like, the wholesome vibe to it that I really enjoy is that, you know, someone listening get to feel like they can, like, correct the teacher, so to say. I always liked those kind of vibes and was relaxed and funny back when I did educational things. So some of it is actually wholesome, believe it or not, and some of it is just dyslexia, to be honest. Okay, we got a little lady running up in a hoodie. Okay, this looks really sus, like the car is ready to go. Oh, they're porch pirates. Look at that, they got a little box and... God, it's so embarrassing. The driver just gets too nervous. Oh, of course she gets floored. She can't even run properly. If you get a porch pirate, make sure you can even run. What are you even wearing? What are those shoes for porch pirating? That's so embarrassing. That is so embarrassing. And she's caught on camera. She falls over. She gets tackled by the local housewife. Oh my god. I don't think I've ever experienced like porch pirating here in Sweden. Is that like an American thing? Maybe it happens here too. I just haven't had it happen to me specifically. Have you had something porch pirated from you, or do you have fun stories about it? Let me know down below. I would love to hear more.
What does the Kraken next to you on the couch mean, Greta Thunberg? The Kraken was and is well known a sign of #Nazis from the anti-Semitic term international finance. In the photo context, you definitely should explain yourself. Look at that. How dare you have this random animal. That's a reach if I've ever seen one. My god. My 1-year-old has this exact octopus. Mr. Octopus to be exact. He loves it. Not sure he's overly familiar with the Nazi regime during the 1930s and 40s. He just thinks it's cute.
How dare he doesn't he realize the problematic signaling of this plushie?
Huh?
Peanut allergy, gluten-free only, no GMOs, no high fructose, no milk products.
Kids today are such wussies. Back in my days, kids with food allergies just died.
Oh my god. It's a good thing that it's gotten better. That sounds awful. What?
One of the worst things about being English or British is that our culture has been adopted by the world as a global norm. Everyone speaks our language, watches our native sports, uses our common law system. Heads of state wear our suits. This is our culture, not the world's. But like, mate, though you're the one who, like, brought it everywhere, no? You got backwards. A boy and his puppy, both with homophobia. Look at that, what a wholesome homophobic picture.
Heterochromia is homophobia now. Like, they didn't even get the hetero-homo right. Like, that's... It's the exact opposite, you know, it's literal opposite words.
My husband refuses to pay my student loans. His reason? I took out the loans before we were together. Is there some loophole to get him to pay?
You like that when they use the word loophole, they're probably not up to something shady. Love it.
Sorry, I can't support being queer. It's against my faith.
Sweaty, your faith says 1,000 other unhinged things that you quietly choose to ignore. You could also choose to make this one of them, but you don't, and that's entirely on you. It's very cherry-picking, isn't it? But it's always been kind of cherry-picked, hasn't it?
Cancel culture, war on men, globalist, mainstream media, false accusations, radical feminism, Andrew Tate, young men.
Young men? That's young men? That's interesting. I didn't know Andrew Tate was appealing to femboys. This is a twist.
The Earth spins at roughly 1,000 miles per hour. We have no idea we are even moving. Don't ever let anyone tell you God's not real.
Like, the correlation is just like, zoom. There's no correlation. Random statement, which is super easily explained by basic physics and relativity, God is real.
One thing I always find mind-boggling about this argument is that you can just use the same argument for a train. How can the train be moving if you're sitting on the train not feeling that it's moving? You know,
It's because the air inside of the train and you have like the speed in the same direction as the train. Same thing with the earth. Like you're spinning with the earth along with the atmosphere and everything. That's why you don't feel it. Like what are you supposed to feel?
you would feel it if it accelerates, because then you would have a force that accelerates you with kinetic energy. That's a different thing. That's what you feel, for example, when a train accelerates and you get pushed back into your seat, and when it brakes and you get forward. It's the acceleration, it's the force required to get you to speed up with kinetic energy. But if there's no acceleration, if the speed is constant, you're not going to feel it because you're just moving in the same direction constantly all the time. This is like literally the first 6 months of any kind of education that has anything to do with physics or math.
Meh. A woman who has undergone massive lip injection admits it's difficult to eat and drink.
What? Oh, God. Oh, no.
I went on my honeymoon alone after my husband and I couldn't agree where to go. I didn't have a traditional wedding. I walked myself down the aisle. So it's not surprised that I didn't have a traditional honeymoon. I went alone on a solo moon.
Solo moon. What's like the point of getting married if you're not actually gonna do anything with your partner? That sounds a bit wasteful. Maybe, I remember seeing that panel with the two people who cheated on themselves because they're both married to themselves, but then they got together. maybe this is that.
My professor for my online class was mad when nobody showed up for the first day. Then realized it was an online class. Pick.
Today was the first day of class and nobody showed up. If this is how you will act the entire semester, feel free to drop my course.
I'm sorry. It has just come to my attention that this is an online course. No in-person class time is required. I'm very sorry for the rude email. I'm not a jerk, I promise. Please forgive me, class. Sincerely. Oh, no. That's so sad. But at least he reached out again and like, okay, that's kind of nice. At least he owned up to the mistake. But that's so sad. I can feel like the horribleness and the cringe in my spine.
A calorie is a unit of heat energy. No food contains heat.
Heat energy. What is just energy?
We do not burn energy. We cannot be in a heat deficit. We cannot store or use heat in any way.
Well, you create heat, I suppose, with your body.
They have nothing to do with nutrition. Real food contains nutrients. We get energy from chemical exchanges. Calories do not determine thermic effect. Stop talking calories.
Calories is only an energy measurement. There are plenty of things in the world that has calories in it. Like uranium, for example, has a crap load of calories in it because it's energy. But you could never get that energy into your body because you can't digest it. Calories is just energy. And food also has energy in it. What? Heat energy. What?
Jordan has been working on your Christmas trees. These tree ranges from $5 to $10. He will have some available at the Jingle Mingle at the Happy Hearts Natural booth. If you would like first picks, feel free to message me to arrange pickups. Look at these Christmas trees. Maybe they just know their demographic really well.
Blowjob stool. What is it supposed to say? Maybe this is IKEA. Maybe that's what it is. It's supposed to be Swedish. It's not Swedish.
Look at this picture. How did you add the clouds background? That's the sky. We were outside.
Oh my god, it's so good. I remember way back in the day on YouTube, this is like back in 2010 or something, when 3D intros were all the hype because people were just figuring out various software. So as soon as you figured something out, you were damn sure to show it off on your channel as like an intro or a banner or something like that. So I remember one dude who did a really funny thing. He had like a ball rolling or something like that, like a real ball, and just filmed it, and he just rolled over some text or something where his name was. Like completely he just filmed it, you know? He didn't make a 3D intro, he just filmed something random in real life. And there were so many comments being like, how did you animate this? Which program did you use for your 3D intro? He just filmed like a football. This is the same vibe. It's just gone too far. 2.04 billion Powerball winner takes home $628 million after taxes. Congrats to the IRS for winning the largest Powerball ever. Woohoo! Isn't that just fun? Well, laddies, lasses and lasses, I do hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed having you here today, you wonderful, beautiful bean. Remember to keep a lookout for the emotional sport team that glows in the dark. It's very beautiful. My little precious bean. So you don't miss it and regret it for the rest of your mortal days. It's a very important thing to have. Other than that, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day because you do deserve it, and I will see you in the very near future. Take care. Mwah.